Let me start off by saying happy Monday. Do you want to know what I did this weekend?
What did you?
I was on my phone on the MTN television. Were you there? Were you not? Do you know? Do you have it? Do you even know how to download?
No, I haven't been there yet. Been lazy to do that.
Can I plug you?
Absolutely.
I would love to plug you. Do me a favor. Just look right there.
Okay.
Something for you to scan.
Okay, absolutely. And
Yeah.
as I get plugged, I'd request that everybody else also joins us in getting plugged. So let's see how that does run.
Okay.
So all you need to do is let me get this right.
That's
Let me
right.
Get this right. Okay, fine.
Do you have it?
Yeah. Let's get to scan that.
There it is.
Yeah.
Well done.
Good. Did I get? Let me see.
The yellow button. Yeah, there you are. Wonderful. That's how you do it. Okay.
Okay, that's rolling down there. So because I use a phone, not a means of communication, I go down there.
Okay.
I go down there. So when you get down there, now that's what you'll get on your screen.
Yes.
So then you start the downloading process. Now, of course, it depends on what your particular bundle is.
Yes, but it should be pretty easy,
It should
isn't
be,
it?
yeah, pretty easy. So that's rolling pretty fast. I hope you're also trying that out down there. Start the process as well. Should take a few moments.
It should take a few moments. What we're actually really talking about is as simple as the MTN TV.
And it's already done, so
By
it is
Afro Mobile.
Opening there, allow notifications.
There you
yes,
are.
Get started with your number.
I love how
and
you're
then
taking us
this
through
is where the problem with Uganda is.
What?
People accept stuff they've not read. So
Okay.
there are terms and conditions, there's privacy policy. Now that's there, those are the terms and conditions. Let's see what comes out there. There's quite a bunch. There's quite a bunch out there to read. I encourage you to read all of that stuff. Let's assume you've gone through all of that.
You accept.
You accept, so you go down there, slide, you accept. I accept and continue, which I have done. Now that's the bit to fill in the phone number that's there. We're going to fill in the phone number here.
People are going to know your number now, isn't it?
Well, we'll be good.
Try not to look.
Okay.
Have you gotten it?
Yeah.
This is the one station where we're actually allowed to use our phones while we're at work. We
Verify
promise we
number.
are working.
So we'll definitely get a QR code in a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go.
Okay.
Has it come in yet?
I'm waiting for it. Waiting for it. Should be coming in a bit.
And there it is.
Is that the one?
Should be the one. Oh, no, there it is. There it is.
Okay. See?
Yes.
Confirm.
Confirm.
There you go.
And you are there.
Excellent. So I'm in. And so
Yeah.
we go through the channels.
Do you want to go quickly to NBS so you
Yeah.
can watch us live while you're there?
So it's as simple as that, and you're
Very
in.
simple.
So scan the code and then start being in charge of your content as
Absolutely.
and when you want. That's how short it takes.
What we are in charge of, though, is the headlines. Coming up right now.
When we look at how the Uganda has been growing over time, they have maintained a sustained growth.
Uganda shines on the global scene.
We're expecting oil, and that's another boost into our economy. And I think that's something that they are also recognizing.
Rises in economic performance according to an IMF report.
You have an economy growing.
As this growth reflected into the productivity,
The economy is a jobless economy.
The country goes to the polls to elect LC chairpersons.
The 21, the chairpersons went through unopposed.
We want fair representation.
NRM scoops most elective positions.
So even these LC2, there may be those who have issues.
You must account for every cent sent to you.
Balam's interdictions.
Must be charged and investigated.
What do the standing orders say, and who is following the rule?
You can't bring ready soil and put it on top of a road that it is maram.
130 missed.
Whole villagers miss food in Karamoja.
Please, can you try to rescue them?
How did they miss out on the census?
I hereby commit you to the High Court for trial and any arrest.
Chris Obore committed to High Court to stand trial after prosecution concludes investigations.
So this reduction in external support to peace operations, including ASOM.
Africa prepares to shoulder greater responsibility for its own peace and security amid donor withdrawals.
This should not be viewed as a challenge alone. It should be viewed as an opportunity.
This is NBS Live at 9 with Samson Kasumba and Victoria Sibia.
Good evening and welcome. You're watching NBS Live at 9. Now we get to our first story. The International Monetary Fund has asked Uganda to start mitigating its debt risks or have a grip on public finances amid growing concerns over the country's debt burden. The fund has called for stronger fiscal discipline, more effective public financial management and faster implementation of economic reforms following projection that the fiscal deficit could widen to 7.1%. The increase is largely attributed to rising recurrent expenditure and mounting interest payment obligations, raising fresh questions about the sustainability of government spending.
The International Monetary Fund has urged Uganda to urgently mitigate growing debt risks through steadfast policy implementation and strengthen public finance management. This warning comes in the wake of the widening fiscal deficit projected to hit 7.1% of GDP, driven primarily by mounting interest payments and recurrent government expenditures. But despite headline macroeconomics figures showing strong economic growth at 6.3% for financial year 2025-2026 and low inflation of 3.5%, civil society experts and economists warn that these numbers mask severe systematic vulnerabilities on the ground.
It gives you two sides. It says here you are good, but here are the major challenges that you are facing. And from my perspective is that you have an economy growing, but the economy is a jobless economy.
The question that has been in the ordinary mind, as this growth reflected into the productivity of people who are doing business, is this growth increasing the real income of the people?
The Executive Director, CSBAG, Julius Mukunda, says while Uganda looks up to the 1.4 trillion shillings anticipated revenue from the oil production, it doesn't automatically become a game changer unless it can add substantially over 40% of the national budget.
Oil is not going to be our game changer. For oil money to be meaningful to us, it should be able to contribute for the first 5 years more than 40% of our entire budget. Right now, we are probably less than 1% of our entire budget.
Economists also point out that high government borrowing from the domestic market is choking private sector growth, leaving commercial banks with little choice but to raise rates. According to Dr. Jacob Otim, a senior lecturer at Chambogo University, this lack of affordable credit prevents local enterprises from expanding, creating a trickle-down freeze across the broader workforce.
The Bank of Uganda, we can credit them. They have done a lot of work to maintain the macroeconomic stability over time, but is not trickling down to the local people. Because this growth is taking place because they use strong macroeconomic mechanisms in place, but you'll find that the cost of living has been very, very high among so many people. So they find it very difficult. And this is coming as a result of government accumulating a lot of debts, and they come back to especially civil servants.
Translate top-line growth into real shared prosperity. Experts alongside the IMF agree Uganda must enforce fiscal discipline, curb domestic overborrowing and take decisive action against corruption.
Now let's move to local government news. Despite the anti-corruption drive led by local government minister Balam Barugahara, local government experts and politicians say corruption in Uganda is a long-standing problem. They note that successive governments have rolled out several interventions to fight the vice, but it persists. The experts, however, say Minister Barugahara is taking a different approach, one they believe deserves support.
Local government minister Balam Barugahara's anti-corruption drive is already yielding results. In areas he has toured, several officials accused of graft have been reported to anti-corruption agencies, with some interdicted pending investigations. Governance experts and some politicians say corruption in Uganda is as old as the country itself. Former local government committee chairs in Parliament, Agnes Atim and Alenyo Masho, say every government has grappled with graft and rolled out several different interventions to fight it.
Balaam's approach is just opening the wound which has been there. And what we are seeing is the pus that has been eaten in the veins of this country. And Balaam has just tickled it, and we can just see and watch really the extent to which the corruption has been.
Corruption has been everywhere, not only in the local governments, but even in the central government. There have been very big cases of corruption.
The two, however, argue that Balaam Barugahara is introducing a different approach in the fight against corruption.
What is different right now is that when the president got this term of 2026, he said, and he was very clear at Kololo, no more sleep. He's going to tackle corruption, and without respect. He actually said we must tackle corruption without respecting the corrupt, and we should be as impudent, as arrogant, and as scandalous in handling corruption as we can in order to achieve the ends of fighting corruption. So I think the Honorable Balaam, the Honorable Namere are taking the president's message.
And by the way, corruption is not only peculiar to Uganda, only that for Uganda we tend to steal everything.
But despite the interventions by government and anti-corruption agencies, corruption continues to cost the country billions of shillings every year. The Member of Parliament for Badiege, Laibi Division, Ojara Mependuzi, says Ugandans are bitter with the level of corruption. Thus, the need for an iron hand.
Different times require different approaches. And so the approach being taken by Honorable Balaam, the Minister for Local Government, and the Deputy, the State Minister, is an approach that we should all commend them.
Governance expert Dr. John Paul Kasuja, however, doubts whether any intervention against corruption can succeed unless the government addresses what he describes as systemic corruption within the state.
It has used corruption as a means of survival, and there is no time that this government can fight corruption and it survives. The day to begin to fight corruption, that will be the day it will collapse.
Now, continuing on with the same story, the interdiction of dozens of public servants following local government minister Balaam Barugahara's anti-corruption inspections has sparked debate over whether a minister has the legal authority to order such disciplinary action. Uganda's public service laws assign that power to a responsible officer, raising questions about the limits of ministerial authority.
Questions are emerging over the legal powers of ministers following recent anti-corruption tours by local government minister Balaam Barugahara, during which several district officials in Buhweju, Isinjiro, Mbara City and Mitoma were directed to be interdicted pending investigations. But under Uganda's public service laws, can a minister interdict or dismiss a public servant? An examination of the Constitution, the Public Service Act, the Public Service Commission regulations, the Public Service Standing Orders and the Local Government Act reveals a clear distinction between a minister's political authority and the legal authority to discipline public officers. The key law is Regulation 38(1) of the Public Service Commission's Regulations 2009. It provides that where a responsible officer considers it necessary in the public interest, or where disciplinary or criminal proceedings are underway or about to begin, he or she shall interdict the public officer. The law specifically gives the power to the responsible officer, not a minister. The Uganda Public Service Standing Orders 2021 define interdiction as a temporary removal of an officer from duty to allow investigations. It is not a punishment, and the officer remains entitled to not less than half salary while the process continues. So who is a responsible officer? In local governments, the law designates the Chief Administrative Officer, CAO, as the administrative head responsible for human resource management and disciplinary action. In central government ministries, that role falls to the permanent secretary. The standing orders further state that a responsible officer must keep the minister informed on matters concerning the ministry, illustrating that the minister exercises policy and political oversight, while disciplinary powers remain with the accounting and administrative head. The Local Governments Act also places ministers in the supervisory role over local governments but does not transfer disciplinary powers over public officers to them. As for dismissal, the Public Service Act 2008 and the Public Service Commission regulations require a formal disciplinary process by the legally mandated disciplinary authority. A public servant cannot lawfully be dismissed solely on a minister's directive. The documents therefore show that the minister initiated or directed the process, while the formal act of interdiction was carried out by the Chief Administrative Officer, who is the responsible officer under the law. That, however, raises a legal question, since Regulation 38 states that the responsible officer shall interdict where he or she considers it necessary. The law therefore permits ministers to inspect institutions, raise concerns, order investigations, and recommend disciplinary action, but the legal authority to interdict or dismiss public servants remains vested in the responsible officer and the competent disciplinary authorities established under the Uganda's public service laws.
Now, in a bit, we'll be speaking to the Honorable Balam Bargahara. But for now, millions of shillings have been spent on health projects in Toro municipality. But, and here's the huge but, years later, some facilities remain incomplete and abandoned. At Kasori Health Center 2, more than 200 million shillings was reportedly paid for construction work. But the work there has stalled for nearly a year, yes, 366 days, with now the contractor demanding an additional 200 million shillings. At Nyagole Health Center 3, another 500 million shillings project remains incomplete, raising questions over accountability and value for your and my money, the citizens.
This abandoned structure within Toro municipality was meant to replace Kasoli Health Center 2, which was demolished to pave way for the construction of the Standard Gauge Railway. 2 years ago, the facility was handed over to the UPDF Engineering Brigade for construction at a cost of more than 200 million shillings. Despite the municipal council allegedly paying the contractor the full contract sum, the works have stalled for nearly a year now.
So far, what has been put in Kasoli Health Center 3 is over 200 million shillings. But the works do not even reflect the 200 million shillings. That is a fact on the ground. You may think maybe 40, 30, 60 million has been put there.
Municipal authorities now say the contractor is demanding an additional 200 million shillings to complete the facility, a bill the council says it cannot afford.
The question is, where do we get the funding? Because this was purely standard gauge. And we would expect that our people should have worked within the compensation and produced what we can have.
Beyond the stalled construction, questions are also being raised over the land on which the health centre sits. Local leaders claim the plot, reportedly valued at 100 million shillings, does not even measure up to an acre.
That is not 1 acre, 100 by 100 plot or less. It is even less than 100 by 100. And it was paid at exorbitant rate. I think Mr. Balam and Namere, Honorable, should pick interest in this.
These concerns do not end at Kasoli. At Nyangole Health Center 3, another government-funded project is facing a similar fate. The facility was handed over to the UPDF Engineering Brigade around June 2024 for construction at a cost of 500 million shillings. More than 2 years later, construction remains incomplete.
At that point, we were told the entire money has been given to the contractor. Now, when you reach that health center, the construction could be at maybe 70%. 70%, we again need more than 200 million shillings to have it complete.
The two projects add to a growing list of public facilities in Toro that remain incomplete, despite millions of shillings having been committed to their construction. A section of local leaders blames the persistent delays and alleged financial irregularities on the previous political leadership, accusing it of working with technocrats to misappropriate public resources. They are now calling for reforms in the way government contracts are approved and monitored.
Officers like the mayor, probably the chairperson and the committees should be part and parcel of signatories of this undertaking, because some of them believe they don't sign anywhere. So they can do anything, manipulate the technical people, do their things.
Our attempts to get a response from the municipal technical heads were futile, as the officials were unavailable in their offices. And with reports that local government minister Balam Barugahara could visit the district later this week, local leaders say they are looking to the minister to intervene.
The Honorable Bargahara, the man of the hour, and his shadow in the opposition, the Honorable Okello, are on television tonight. And we are going to ask, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us both. Honorable Balam, let me begin with you because the nation is on you at the moment. You are drawing crowds any politician would like. But at the moment, what we want to know is that the Public Service Standing Orders assigns responsibility of interdiction to an officer, in this case, the PS. What is happening, some are saying, is that the minister interdicts, you interdict, then the PS writes the letters. Are we talking about the same thing here, or are we failing to understand you?
You know, many people are failing to understand exactly what is going on because most of them have been confused over time because the corrupt have made them get confused, so they don't want to know the reality. What I'm doing currently on the ground is a people audit. People are auditing, people are confirming value for money. We are moving around with people reporting that they said they will make for us a bridge. Honorable, this is the bridge they made. Honorable, they budgeted for a toilet. Here's a toilet without a pit latrine. Honorable, they said they are going to build for us an irrigation scheme in Isinjiro. Here is a scheme. They said that the scheme will supply 3 villages, but instead it is supplying 1 village and the pump is faulty. Honorable, the machine meant for value addition in our village in Isinjiro was placed. However, this machine, the transformer put in place was taken away. The weighing scale was taken away. So what is left is a skeleton. So what people are reporting is what I'm acting on.
Okay.
And also, I don't interdict. Interdiction, the letter of interdiction is signed by the PS. I've not signed any letter. However, when I sit in a meeting with the community and the leaders of the district, people bring out their views. And the only way you can know that you allow to have impartiality in investigation, the PS acts within the mandate. My work is to advise and ensure that anti-corruption agencies investigate just in time, in the quickest time possible. The local government investigation won't take forever like you've seen other investigations.
Okay, I've got to jump in here, and I've got to be very careful because you're very popular on the ground. So it makes my job very difficult. When you say, arrest that one, take this one, Oyoba Mutwale, is that within your ambit?
Yeah,
or is it not? And yet, even asking, the viewers out there will now wonder on which side is Kasumba here. But is that within your ambit?
You see, the most important thing is if I tell the intelligence agencies or anti-corruption agencies, please take interest in this person, make a statement from him, and get the fact. This is what the people are saying. Let's get the facts from him. That's what they do. My work is I don't have a police cell in my car.
Okay.
I move in a small car. But the most important thing is I need an impartial investigation which is not tampered with by the people in office. Okay. The more they stay in office during an investigation, is the more they will mismanage and even hide away evidence.
Okay.
Most of the attacks have been surprise attacks, and most of the attacks they didn't know that people know what is going on. So this is now public. The people audit.
I'm coming back to you. Honorable Okello seems to like the my line of questioning. Honorable Okello, you in the opposition, this used to be your things. You own the accountability committees. You've become invisible. What are you going to do for the population to understand that you're also interested in fighting corruption as the NRM is now doing?
Thank you, Samson, and our viewers. As the Shadow Minister for Local Government, I want to reiterate that Ugandans are alive to the fact that corruption is systemic. That is without doubt. Now, if corruption is systemic, what is the approach that the honorable ministers and the government has put in place? This is not about blame game. Corruption affects all of us equally. And to some extent, some of us are even affected more, especially the poor. Now, if government wishes to fight corruption seriously, as it is being displayed, we hope it is not a media gimmick. The slogan is clear, Kisanja no sleep, but the fact is, like you rightfully put it, government has given Operation Kosase to lead, Public Accounts Committee, central and local to lead. But many times, reports produced from the committees are sent to Parliament, discussed, recommendation from both the Auditor General is taken to Cabinet, but no action is taken. We hope this time round, such actions will not happen. In any case, I would have loved a situation where government, after putting opposition to provide a more serious oversight on their behalf, as they fight for corruption, they should have also brought opposition into the picture. Because we have some ideas. Some of the people that the Balams and Namere are fighting are highly connected. We've seen in the media, many of them are beginning to castigate the good work that these two young leaders have started to do. And this is still at local government. Remember, corruption in Uganda, of the 84 trillion budget, only 9 trillion goes to local government. And that is where the Balams are focusing. The other 70-something trillion, God knows what happened. Even the devil probably knows. Now, how do we help these young men to fight corruption, since corruption is systemic, from the local government up to the central government? Even Parliament. You've been alive to the fact of what happened in Parliament. So this is not a fight that the Balams and the Mere can accomplish alone. I'm happy they have started, but I think we want to see government clams more clearly. So for us as opposition, we are going to reinforce their action by engaging in the media like we are doing.
Okay, Honorable Kello, let me ask here. Isn't this the proverbial snake that has fallen in a cooking pot that has the meal for the evening? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. When you talk method, I mean, if you take too long, the snake will become part of the meal. So what can Balam do? The snake is there for the taking. Heat the pot and everything and deal with the meals later.
I think some of this action you are seeing the Balams and Namere are doing has been because of the pressure opposition is putting on the floor to the government. The only challenge we have as opposition is we have a very narrow space to play our role of oversight. But within that, even still again, we have put in place, we have our alternative policies. We are going to put it before Parliament, we are going to put it before the Balam so that they take it up. We are going to come to community, we are going to have community engagements on barazas so that we scrutinize some of these projects. What is happening with them, the way they are explaining. Mind you, it is also not very easy to criticize yourself as a government. And I think we shall do even a better job if some of these measurements are taken by us as opposition.
Honorable Kero, thank you very much. You're also going to the communities to play for the cameras? Are you going to the communities also to play for the cameras? I'll come back to that a little later. That's a little on the light note. Honorable Baram, your response to those comments.
I want first of all thank the Honorable Kero, the Shadow Minister of Local Government, for his supportive comments. One, we have tried to engage and work together with the opposition. Recently, we had a leaders' conference at Imperial, where I invited Honorable Betty Bachirekena Mboze and all members of the PAC local government. I want to thank Honorable Ariko, the chairperson, who attended that meeting and he made his remarks. Well, Honorable Ariko says, Honorable Kero says, we are spending only, local government has only 9 trillion. Over the total budget of 83 trillion, right? But for me and for us as a local government, we want the service of those poor, the 9, be catered for. Then the other departments can also wake up and fight for transparency in their respective departments. If I keep quiet, that because I have a smaller percentage of a budget and 10% of a budget or 10.5% of a budget, and I keep quiet, then the local people who are affected most by corruption in Health Center 3, Health Center 4, Health Center 5 in the respective districts, they will not get services. Like I mentioned, in Imbale district, at their referral hospital, Busui, they put 19 workers. Out of 19 workers, 16 are nurses and doctors, but 7 have been ghost workers. They have never reported for work, and they continue to earn money. And this is the main hospital of the district. Okay. So what do we do if we don't? But anyway, fighting corruption is a joint team. Okay. And I will be interfacing with the local government accounts committee probably next week. Once we interface, we shall draft ways and make ways how possible can we work together to fight this war It's not a war for Barugahara. It's not a war for General Kainerugaba. It's not a war for President Museveni or General Saleh. It is a war for all Ugandans. Ugandans are tired of thieves. Ugandan wants to have improved service delivery.
Very interesting. Honorable Kello, the system has been captured by the corrupt. People argue, let him use the systems. These systems are the problem. Doesn't this work require unorthodox methods from a man who doesn't have a wife who expects him to come home in the evening? This guy is always on the road. Maybe it's also a good job for somebody who has no wife.
Yeah, Samson, that's quite comical, the way you put it. But we still live to the fact that corruption is here with us. The system, like I think one of the doctors, the commentators, the analysts put it, the system also had a weakness. It had not been aggressively fighting corruption, and corruption has become like a cancer. So what is happening now is like, if we don't look at the system approach to fighting corruption, we'll be, I would use an analogy of treating cancer. When somebody has a tumor and you keep giving aloe vera, juice, fruit, yes, it will boost the immunity, but it will not take away the corruption. So the corruption, there are clear recommendations, like Balam put it. I really appreciate what they are doing at local government, but I think, for lack of better words, we need to take this war to the central government. That is my input.
Honorable Balam, do you remember to get some time to sleep?
Yeah, this is Kisanja, no sleep. Okay. Kisanja, no more sleep. Yes. Kisanja, no more politeness. Kisanja, no more corruption.
And Chisanja, suspend marriage until corruption is done.
Because now, the moment you start those things, then you know you are going to sleep. And the president has guided. I don't want to defer the order of the commander-in-chief. His orders are clear, no more sleep.
Okay.
So if I'm the minister of local government, I should do exactly what he wants me to do.
Thank you very much.
But I pledge to do it for Uganda and for the future generation.
Okay. Perhaps it's a job. I mean, one wonders, what if Balam had a wife who expects him to come home and now he doesn't need any permission? He goes, comes 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and the work continues.
Sockets.
Sockets, whatever that means. Let's see what is coming right after this.
More to come, brought to you by
Global Paint. How? For the seeding. For us, we use Global Mat.
Global Paint, a reliable product.
Well, looking at more to come, the tension is mounting in Karamoja as entire villages reportedly miss out on the government emergency food relief. That will be coming up even more after this. What an interesting... I'm still wondering what sockets are.
You want to know?
No, maybe...
In the break.
Before the medal, before the success, there are mornings no one sees, days you carry alone, days the doors won't stay open, days you need more than you have, fighting for something bigger than yourself. In those moments, it is the people that show up for us. A hand, a loan, a door that stays open. A silent push to get you moving again. The ones you don't see fighting for you while you're fighting for yourself. That's what it means to have someone on your side. I&M Bank, on your side.
Hello, Mr.
Mr. Mukasa.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay, sir. Are you the broker?
The original one.
I was told you have very good rentals.
That is right. How many bedrooms do you want?
I want 3 bedrooms.
Okay, did I tell you of the price?
Yes, of course. 500,000.
No. This side, the salary went a bit high.
Why?
Because the paint we use is of good quality. So the place gained the value.
Which paint?
Global paint.
How?
For the ceiling, for us we use Global Mat. And for the inside walls, we use Global Silk Vinyl.
Okay, tell me about the outside walls.
Outside we use Global Weather Coat Emulsion so that the walls don't peel.
I'm really impressed. The precision you put while painting, I'm willing to pay any amount.
That is true, because here for us quality is paramount and the place becomes umite.
Global Paint, a reliable product.
School feeding programs are not just about food. They are about education, health, and equality. Every child deserves to learn without hunger. That is why our school and leaders should make school feeding a priority.
Well-fed children are more attentive and perform better in school. As a parent, it is your duty to ensure your child has access to school meals. Together, we can end child hunger and malnutrition by ensuring every child has school meals. This message is brought to you by World Vision Uganda.
Uganda is moving forward, and at the heart of that movement is the most extensive fiber network in East Africa, with more than 15,000 kilometers of fiber and over 5,000 telecom mast sites. Soliton Telmec is the backbone that enables Uganda's telecom and digital infrastructure, connecting government services, businesses, homes, universities, hospitals, banks, villages, and telecom masts. We don't just build networks, we maintain and commercialize critical infrastructure that supports national development. East Africa's leading fiber company, connecting Uganda with the most capacity. Soliton Telmec, building networks for life.
Why pay for someone else's repairs? Say goodbye to hidden costs and hello to peace of mind of a brand new start. Discover the Suzuki range of unmatched fuel-efficient and reliable options. From the iconic Jimny to the new Across Hybrid. Find the perfect blend of style and world-class efficiency. Upgrade today and enjoy 1 year of free fuel and comprehensive insurance, plus 2 years of free service and a 3-year warranty. Trade in your current car or choose financing to start driving as you pay installments. Don't wait. Visit the Suzuki showroom today or call 0800 211 033 to get started.
Malayuni Pride Bank. It is so easy. You just have to maintain a minimum monthly balance of 100K and we'll give you health insurance for free. The bigger the balance, the bigger the benefits. Visit a nearby branch or call 0800 333 999 to learn more.
Pride Bank. Your growth is our pride.
Welcome back. Now, tensions are mounting in Karamoja as entire villages reportedly miss out on the government emergency food relief. Leaders say the beneficiary register generated using UBO's 2024 data has left out thousands of vulnerable households. This has sparked anger among residents, forcing some local leaders to flee their villages over security concerns.
As emergency food distribution continues across Karamoja, desperation is growing among families whose names do not appear on the beneficiary register. In some communities, leaders say entire villages have been excluded, leaving vulnerable households without food despite the worsening hunger crisis.
In my sub-county as Lotisan sub-county, Atruai,
40 people got food, and then 130 missed.
In Naitakwai Parish, leaders say residents of Kanakumor and Komagal villages were left out from the food distribution list. The situation has become so tense that parish chiefs and LC1 chairpersons from the affected villages say they have abandoned their homes after receiving threats from angry residents demanding answers.
The number that is really written by the village, it was taken earlier in Kampala, and again it has to come with a few number.
People can start even killing some of us because of this, because of the missing persons.
They just want to say, to chase away the LOC ones out of their homes because they have missed already.
Please, can you try to rescue them before in danger?
At Nabakat Food Distribution Center, hundreds of desperate families gather under patchy tree shades, anxiously waiting for their names to be called. But for many, the wait ends in disappointment.
100 have benefited today, and 160 have missed. Children are getting malnourished and are growing very thin, and hunger is killing people.
Local leaders say the confusion stems from the beneficiary lists used during the distribution exercise. They explain that when the hunger crisis escalated, parish chiefs and LC1 chairpersons were instructed to compile updated household registers, complete with national identification numbers, before submitting them to the office of the Prime Minister. However, leaders say they were surprised to learn at the distribution centers that the program was instead relying on household data generated during the 2024 national census. They argue that the older data does not capture newly formed households or many nomadic pastoralist families who were away during the census exercise. The beneficiary register has now come under heavy criticism, with local leaders warning that unless it is urgently reviewed, many vulnerable families will remain without food.
And now the Electoral Commission has described voting for local council 2 chairpersons across the country as generally peaceful, despite a few isolated incidents. However, the electoral body noted that disagreements emerged during the election of parish executive committees, with political differences reported over the composition of some committees.
At 10 a.m., voting had started in different parts of the country as local council chairpersons lined up to elect parish chairpersons. At each polling centre, voters were first verified against the voters' register to confirm their registration in their respective parish. In the areas we visited in Kampala, voting proceeded smoothly with no major complaints from the candidates who emerged victorious.
Overall, tuli bamativu n'ekivuddemu.
Ffe abalonzi tuli basanyufu nnyo kuba bulijjo kye tubadde twetaaga kye kibaddewo.
But while the election of parish chairpersons proceeded peacefully, the election of the parish executive committees was marked by disagreements and heated exchanges. At Bat Valley Primary School in Kampala, disagreements arose after the elected chairperson constituted the committee, which was dominated by NRM supporters, leaving members of the National Unity Platform dissatisfied. They accused the chairperson of bias, arguing that the committee should have included representatives from both political parties.
Publicity ye mugo ya Simon. Olukiiko lubereka abantu nga buli side waliyo. We want fair representation.
Tuli mu Uganda eyawamu. Wachata abayagala kulonda ba movement bokka.
In other areas, including Makindye, candidates were seen celebrating their victories, with supporters taking to the streets in jubilation. The candidates say they have put the election behind them and are now ready to begin serving their communities.
Emioga abantu sente tebazirabyeko, PDM sente tebazirabyeko, enkoko bwezijja nyumba 5 zezifunako, bintu bigenda mu kukutu, kati awo ensinjidde njije.
Electoral Commission Chairperson Simon Byabakama says voting generally proceeded smoothly despite a few reported incidents.
One thing I know certainly, that with every election, you are likely to have those who are not satisfied or who are disgruntled. So even with these LC2, there may be those who have issues.
He warned LC1 chairpersons whose election disputes remain unresolved but have been elected to the parish executive committee that if their results are overturned, they will also lose parish positions.
It is found or established that you actually did not win, or your victory was marred by irregularities. The results that were given to you is not what you scored. Then you will be rendered not a winner. Simple.
Byabakama says the elected leaders now face significant responsibilities, including strengthening the link between government and villages.
Shall oversee the implementation of policies and decisions made by its council, assist in the maintenance of law, order and security, initiate, encourage, support and participate in self-help projects and mobilize people, material and technical assistance in relation to self-help projects.
I think in my entire life I have won only once anything that involved a vote, and that is for best anchor for the year. Now, away from that, let's still stay with elections. As Uganda went to the polls to elect parish and ward local council 2 chairpersons, hundreds of parishes across the Bukedi sub-region remained quiet after the positions attracted only single candidates, leaving them to go through unopposed.
In Bukedi, the election atmosphere was markedly different in many areas. In Busia, which has 70 parishes, 52 did not hold elections. In Palisa, 65 out of 90 parishes had no elections, while in Butaleja, 49 out of 70 parishes did not go to the polls. Similar situations were reported in other districts, with more than 400 of over 600 parishes in the sub-region having no contest. Leaders attribute the high number of unopposed candidates partly to the voting system, which requires voters to physically line up behind their preferred candidate. They say many potential candidates feared that contesting against people from their own communities could create divisions and lasting animosity. In the few parishes where voting took place, the National Resistance Movement candidates enjoyed overwhelming victories, with opposition parties struggling to field candidates in several areas.
To do the good work, the one they expect from me.
NRM's dominance in the local council elections has now renewed debate about the strength of the party's grassroots structures in the region. Rogers Mulindwa, who has been coordinating NRM mobilization in the sub-region, attributes the party's performance to what he describes as strategic grassroots mobilization and effective organization.
This explained how popular NRM is in the entire Bukedi sub-region. Actually, you can declare Bukedi sub-region opposition free. But
the opposition disputes this assessment, arguing that the results should be blamed on failure by Electoral Commission to hold free and fair elections always.
In a state where there is selective fight of corruption, it ideally lacks meaning.
2 out of the 23 wards in Mbarara City have carried out elections of the local council 2 chairpersons after 21 chairpersons were unopposed. These, however, had to hold their meetings of electing the committee members with interface in the local council 1 elections that caused chaos and violence, leading to repeat of elections in 7 villages. The LC2 election was calm, with many unopposed candidates attributing the prior interface by politicians at city parliament level.
In Mbarara City, Rwachurch's ward in Mbarara City South and Biharo West ward in Mbarara City North are the only 2 out of 23 wards that had LC2 elections. The rest of the 21 wards had unopposed chairpersons at the LC2 level, but had to organize a meeting to elect the 6 committee members to join the special interest group chairpersons and the LC2 elect as Violet Atura, the Mbarara City returning officer, explains.
So the 21, the chairpersons went through unopposed. Yeah, so all they will be required to do is to call for the meeting and appoint executive committee members, the vice chairperson, the general secretary. There are 6 positions. Now, those 6 will join him to make 7, but we already have the 4 who went through the processes that we had sometime last year. The chairperson for youth at the ward, the chairperson for PWDs at the ward, the chairperson, older persons at the ward, and also the chairperson women at the ward.
Atuhura notes that unlike the LC1 elections, where 7 of the 186 villages repeated elections due to chaos and violence, the LC2 elections were calm. Majority of the LC2 chairpersons are from the ruling NRM, with reports of interference of politicians at city and member of parliament level, which explains the high number of the unopposed candidates.
But luckily, we were able to hold all these elections that we had postponed at LC1. Now, at LC2, I've not had any such complaints. Maybe they were sorted earlier because we have so many unopposed. Yeah, but so far, for the 2 places where we have elections, I've not heard of any interference.
Let's look at Arua, where LC2 elections in Arua City were successfully conducted in 18 wards with no major incidents recorded. The exercise kicked off with the arrival of voters starting at 11 a.m. and being an electoral college exercise, it was quickly concluded after verification and voter education.
We started with verification of the committees formed by the LC1 in the register. We verified them from 9 a.m. up to 11, and then we did some voter education to the voters who are going to elect the LC2. We did the voter education just for a few minutes at 11. Then we encourage them to stand behind the candidates they want to vote. Actually, the election went well, successful and peaceful. As the last verge of the election being allowing the LC2 who had obtained the highest number of votes and went through to to appoint committees to form the LC2 11 committee, of which he appointed 6. The 4 came automatic from the special interest group, the chairperson for PWD, chairperson for youth, chairperson for older person, and chairperson for women.
Feedback brought to you by.
In business, you need advice, solutions, and sector expertise when it matters.
Your new office space looks great. What's next?
We get it. Absa Business Banking.
Feeding back is feeding back.
Feeding back. Hashtag NBS Live at 9 is the hashtag you are using online. And the question is, with the Electoral Commission's reporting that LC2 elections were generally peaceful, what is your take on how the exercise went? Let's hear what you had to say.
Things are falling in people or people are falling in things. Musa is saying, true, no rigging, no invalid. Huh. Very brief. That tells you the whole story. Musa there.
It's good news when we're talking elections.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Amos says it was peaceful in Ajumani district. They are all brief.
Wonderful.
Very brief. Brief like?
Tiger.
A full stop.
Let's hear what Tiger's saying there. It says that it was very good here in Liras.
Everybody's brief.
I love that for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Straight to the point, isn't it?
No.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and continue on with more of our stories this evening. The Parliamentary Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises has ordered the immediate arrest of the chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission, Justice Mariam Wangadia, and directed that she be produced before the committee on Tuesday morning. The directive follows Justice Wangadia's failure to appear before COSASE on Monday after she wrote to the committee saying she can only appear before the Parliamentary Committee on Human Rights and not COSASE.
For the second consecutive time, the chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission, Justice Mariam Wangadia, has snubbed an interface with the Parliamentary Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises. On Monday, the accounting office of the commission, together with all commissioners, appeared before COSASE, chaired by Chadondo East MP Muwada Nkunyinji, to account for resources received in the financial year 2024-2025. Justice Wangadia, however, did not show up.
He gave me communication which I delivered to you before the start of this meeting.
According to the accounting officer, Justice Wangadia handed him a letter addressed to the committee in which she cited her unavailability to appear before COSASE. In the letter, she stated that she was ready to appear before other committees, including Parliamentary Committee on Human Rights, but not COSASE.
You give us a break of 10 to 15 minutes. He goes and he calls that lady here.
I'm requesting that we take action.
The letter angered committee members who described the conduct as impunity and arrogance.
COSASE has all the mandate to audit or interrogate the audit findings regarding the human rights mandate. In the last committee of COSASE, that woman appeared before us and she pleaded, forgive me here, forgive me, I am going to change. In the next audit, these things will not happen.
We are not going to be here massaging egos.
She has to come here, give us a status, and then we move on.
The MPs questioned whether Justice Wangadia was still committed to executing the mandate of the Uganda Human Rights Commission, noting that she had already submitted a notice of resignation to the appointing authority.
We do not proceed until we compel her to be here. We should not allow this impunity to proceed, Chair.
And our rules of procedure allow you to proceed and sign a warrant of arrest. The chairperson has not given us satisfactory reasons.
The committee ruled that her refusal to appear amounts to contempt of Parliament and subsequently issued an arrest warrant.
I want to instruct our CID to look for Mariam Wangadia, arrest her for purposes of bringing her to this committee tomorrow at 9 a.m. I saw roll meeting adjourned.
Well, it's about that time I remind you of one more thing over here. Do you see that particular QR code? We'd love it if you scanned it because you get to have control over your viewing experience on MTN TV by Afro Mobile. Get it on your phone. Samson showed you how to get it done. If you're new to this, it's pretty easy. Scan that code, register, and you have full control over your own viewing experience. Well, right now, let's go ahead and take a quick break.
Every business begins with belief. The belief that tomorrow can be bigger than today. But waiting to be paid should never hold ambition back. With NCBA Working Capital Solutions, unpaid invoices become opportunity. Because some ambitions build more than businesses, they build futures. At NCBA, we bank on belief, empowering ambition with tailored financial solutions built around your business. Whatever your next move, we are here to help you grow. Access unsecured loans of up to 500 million Uganda shillings plus 6 months of free banking. Ko NCBA Bank, Chigwa Kuwerere. Visit any NCBA Bank branch today and unlock the momentum your business deserves.
NCBA Bank. Go for it.
You wanna make tasty food and face. You wanna do that doesn't steal. Can't tell you one no ya night. Seek a de buto one night. No afro ya seek a de buto one night. Can't no ya night.
Cook better, sell better with modern healthy cholesterol-free cooking oil and modern non-sticky wheat flour. Modern Yenyabo.
Everybody come alive, that's the light. Burn it up. On the light, don't stop. Run sorry marathon to the world right now. Everybody come alive.
Own the light at the 5th edition of the Tescalite Mountain Sorry Marathon, August 22nd, Kasese. Register for 5, 10, 21 or 42 kilometers at 60k. Tescalite. Own the light. Open one. you'll know. In today's world, opportunity is digital. Is your education keeping pace? At Cavendish University, Uganda, we don't just use technology, we're built around it. Our state-of-the-art digital portal and our world-class public health laboratories are your launchpad. Because here, we focus on one outcome, your success. We equip you with in-demand digital skills, critical thinking, and real-world experience. We don't just award degrees, we prepare you for gainful employment and entrepreneurship globally. Enroll with Cavendish University Uganda this semester. Registration is ongoing. Cavendish University Uganda. Your success begins here.
You need a bigger space to grow your business. You need to be ready for any season.
You need faster checkouts for these busy days.
In business, you need advice, solutions, and sector expertise when it matters.
Your new office space looks great. What's next?
We get it. Absa Business Banking.
The Presidential Initiative for Scaling the Girl and Boy Child, a project under State House, informs all divisions of Kampala that registration for young girls and boys of the 15 to 35 years age bracket will take place on Thursday, 13th of August 2026, with training starting on Monday, 17th of August 2026 at the following skilling centers: Wandegea Market, Mulago Catholic Church, All Saints Church of Uganda Mutundwe, Nakulabye Chiwunya Our Lady of Fatima Catholic Church, Luzira Prisons at St. Stephen's Church of Uganda Luzira, Subway Crested Towers Roundabout, Wabigalo Parish Community Hall, Butikira Parish Catholic Church Chigowa Antinda, and Makere Chikoni Community Hall. Registration and training are free of charge. To register, bring a photocopy of your national ID or your parents' or the guardian's ID for minors, signed and stamped by the LC1 with their phone contact, plus 4 recent passport photos. For more information, call 0716 144 562 or 0414 343 457 and 0414 343 458.
How do you make a party? You take time to prepare, to bring all the pieces together, to craft it right. The result, great refreshment. And that makes it time well spent. Club, brewed longer for longer refreshment.
Welcome back. You're still tuned into NBS Live at 9. And now the Anti-Corruption Court has committed former Director of Communications and Public Affairs at Parliament, Chris Obore, and 6 others to the High Court for full trial. This after prosecution completed investigations into the matter, in which Chris Obore and his co-accused are charged with corruption involving over 27 billion shillings meant to benefit members of the Uganda Parliamentary Cooperative Savings and Credit Society Limited.
Despite the continued absence of Stella Itute, an employee at the Sergeant-at-Arms office at Parliament, whom court had ordered to be arrested, the court chose to strike her name off the indictment and commit the rest of the accused to the High Court. The accused persons in this matter comprise the Director of Communications and Public Affairs, Chris Obore, the Director, Human Resource, Adilo Daniel, Executive Secretary in the Office of the Speaker of Parliament, Okema Leonard, and Principal Research Officer Rajab Kaya Semalulu, Principal Protocol Officer Okwi Emmanuel Emuron, Capacity Development Officer, the Parliament of Uganda, Otebate Vincent, and the Chief Executive Officer of the Uganda Parliamentary Cooperative Savings and Credit Society Limited, Mulebe Methods.
Expert opinion from the forensic document examiner of the Uganda Police. Accountability documents as presented A1 and any other documents with a leave of court.
In the indictment read to the accused, prosecution alleges that the 7 and others still at large between 2023 and May 2026 at the Parliament of Uganda in Kampala district received funds meant for donations and corporate social responsibility activities of Parliament but did not implement the activities, knowing or having reason to believe that their acts would cause financial loss to the government of Uganda amounting to over 27 billion Ugandan shillings. The prosecution also alleges that the 7 and others still at large between January 2023 and April 2026 at their respective offices at the Parliament of Uganda in Kampala district processed, approved and received over 10 billion Ugandan shillings, knowing at the time of processing and receipt of the said funds were proceeds of crime. The prosecution will rely on evidence from SACCO beneficiaries in Gulu, Moroto, Bukedia, Lango, Mukono, Kampala, Ajimani, among other areas. Among the exhibits to be presented will be the documents from the SACCO, Bank of Uganda, Absa Bank, Stanbic Bank, Parliament, Uganda Police and the Office of the Inspectorate of Government. The case will return to court for mention on the 18th of August 2026.
And now 3 different presidential orders and little implementation. The Balalo question is one that has left many questioning the intention of government, with local leaders seeking deeper understanding of the Balalo question, while some want government to commission a study on post-war challenges and the Balalo.
I've agreed a period of 2 weeks is given to these herdsmen to peacefully evacuate themselves.
Over the past 5 years, President Yoweri Museveni has issued over 2 different orders on the eviction of the Balalo from northern Uganda.
The Balalo in northern Uganda must leave immediately.
In these years, the impact of the implementation has been so mild, with many questioning the intention and will of government to push the Balalo out of the region.
Immediately after the election, the animals of Balalo started coming back to Acholi land.
Is there an invisible hand? So if there is an invisible hand, where is this invisible hand coming from? You know, so these are things we need to get to know, and the members of parliament need to be part of these actors to deal with this issue.
And this ongoing eviction is not, they are not involving us, the local leaders.
Leandro Komakej, former Gulu Municipality Member of Parliament, says the Balalo question must not be looked at as a cattle issue, but government must commission a study to understand the post-war challenges and the Balalo question.
The Balalo question and the northern question. How are the two mixing up with the post-conflict setting of communities that are so vulnerable? How do we deal with this thing? So I think government should intervene and help the community.
There was a committee of verification that we are asked to do, among other things, look into the claims of the Balalos who claim to have bought land legally.
In the recent interview with NBS TV, former Minister in charge of Northern Uganda, Dr. Kenneth Omona, said there was progress in the implementation despite the challenges, something that has been questioned, with calls for the Office of the President to give out a comprehensive report.
I think when we say in this Chisanja of no corruption, it should start from there. Can the President interest himself? The Office of the President should interest themselves into what took place in the implementation of the presidential order.
Politics is mixing itself by some people into this executive order, and I think it is high time. The executive order seems to become stale in its nature. The President needs to, again, activate.
If they refuse to continue with the implementation, as members of parliament from Acholi, we shall reorganize ourselves, we shall swing into action.
Police is stepping up enforcement on crime, with 4 suspects now in custody in connection with the murder of SC Villa player David Owori, including a suspect linked to the purchase of phones allegedly stolen from the deceased. Police are warning members of the public against buying stolen phones, saying those found in possession of such items could face charges linked to crimes committed. Meanwhile, police is also pursuing the driver involved in the Namulanda crash that killed 2 Next Media staff members, whilst issuing fresh guidelines to school administrators and drivers as school break off for holidays.
Investigations into the murder of the Villa Sports Club captain. Now, I remember I gave an update that there were some arrests made. More arrests have again been made. In our investigations, we managed to trace the phone set of the deceased. And during the process, we managed to go forward and arrest suspects whom we believe are the buyers of these stolen phones. At the moment, we have 4 suspects, and even as good as today, the number may increase. But we are zeroing up to the last person or the last people who committed the offense of injuring the victim, which occasioned his death.
Buses to be used in such circumstances must obtain the necessary permission from the Ministry of Works and Transport, where they will be operating outside their usual authorized routes. We all know that these buses, especially the PSV buses, have route charts they operate on. So if they are to violate that and go for these children or students, they must have that clearance from the Ministry of Works and Transport.
Kasese Municipality's night economy is steadily expanding, with improved roads, street lighting and enhanced security encouraging businesses to operate beyond traditional working hours. Municipal leaders said the growing nighttime economy is creating employment opportunities and increasing local revenue, although residents are calling for more security and lighting to sustain the progress. You know, there's a big marathon there.
As darkness falls over Kasese Municipality, the streets remain alive with activity as restaurants, bars, hotels, roadside eateries, supermarkets, pharmacies, fuel stations and transport operators continue serving customers late into the night. What was once a town where most businesses closed before nightfall has gradually evolved into a growing commercial center, with economic activity extending well beyond sunset. Areas such as Nyasanga, Crescent Road and Stanley Street now remain active in the early hours of the morning, serving travelers, workers and residents seeking goods and services outside normal business hours. Municipal authorities have the transformation to improve road infrastructure, installation of security lights and strengthened security, which have increased public confidence and encouraged investment in nighttime businesses.
Even you can come to Kasese even 4 and you already find food, already cook food on the streets. I think the roads and security lights have improved trade.
By the time we did have these lights, good roads, and security enhancement, there was no night travel.
The municipality also says it has introduced night parking and collections from licensed nighttime vendors, creating an additional source of locally generated revenue.
You park a car, we charge you. See, because of that economy, we are charging people at night who are selling the sellable goods, for example, meat, chapatis, shoes, and other things.
Despite the progress, some business owners and residents believe the benefits are still concentrated in only a few streets, with many parts of the municipality becoming quiet soon after nightfall.
As early as 8 p.m. in the business district CBD of Kasese Municipality, you rarely see a business there.
Residents say inadequate security and poor street lighting on the town center discourage business from operating late, fearing they may not return home safely with their earnings. They are calling
more street lighting, stronger security patrols, and continued infrastructure development, especially in the outskirts of town, to enable more businesses to extend their operating hours safely.
Whoever will have extended the time of business maybe to midnight is not so guaranteed that he will reach home safely with his money.
I think what people need is security. If somebody is assured of security, and from my shop I will reach home safely, then why not?
Kasese security authorities say the protection of lives remains their top priority, with ongoing operation being implemented gradually in collaboration with local leaders on a cell-by-cell basis before being extended to all parts of the municipality.
However, I want to emphasize that these operations will reach everywhere. We have only started from the municipality. That's why even in the municipality we are not doing it at once. We are going cell by cell.
That last shot just made me very hungry, you know why. Now, African nations have been urged to take charge of solving their own domestic challenges and problems instead of relying on external support. The director of the East African Standby Force Secretariat, Brigadier General Ronald Rivanga, disclosed this during the opening of the 36th Ordinary Policy Organs meeting in Eastern Africa. He warns that as many donors withdraw funding from peace initiatives, Africa must prepare to shoulder greater responsibility for its own peace and security.
Representatives of the 9 member states of the Eastern Africa Standby Force have converged in Kampala for the experts working meeting of the 36th Ordinary Policy Organs meeting to discuss pressing issues in the region. Speaking at the event, Director of the East Africa Standby Force Secretariat, Brigadier General Ronald Rivanga, said the meeting comes at a critical time as external donors withdraw support for peacekeeping missions, leaving Africa under pressure to do more with less.
So this reduction in external support to peace operations, including ASOM, sends a clear message that Africa must increasingly prepare to shoulder greater responsibility for its own peace and security. For ESF, this should not be viewed as a challenge alone. It should be viewed as an opportunity.
The ESF main purpose is to respond to conflicts within the member states if need arises. Brigadier General Rivanga says Africa should develop capacity to solve its challenges independently, noting that as the standby force, peace is key to the mission.
It is better to avoid conflict than to actually engage in conflict. So our roles are multifaceted, ranging from mediation to response in genocide scenarios.
The meeting comes amid ongoing conflicts in member states, including Sudan, South Sudan, and the DRC. The UPDF Joint Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Jack Bakasumba, who represented CDF General Mhoz Kainerugaba, said lasting peace requires vision and strong institutions that anticipate future threats while addressing today's realities.
The Eastern African Standby Force represents one of the clearest expressions of that vision. It embodies the collective determination of our member states to assume greater responsibility for the peace and security of our region, recognizing that stability cannot be achieved through isolated national efforts alone, but through partnership, shared responsibility, and mutual trust.
On Thursday, the commanders-in-chief of the 9 member states will hold a meeting to discuss the findings and recommendations of the working expert meeting that will guide the discussion for the Ministers of Defense on Friday. The Eastern Africa Standby Force, formerly Eastern Africa Standby Brigade, is one of the 5 regional forces for peace support operations of the African Standby Force, consisting of military, police, and civilian components.
And now the Parliamentary Committee on Government Assurance has expressed concern over the delayed completion of more than 10 bridges across the country since 2015, saying the delays are affecting connectivity. Chairing the committee meeting today, Vice Chairperson Anna Adeke noted that most of the bridge construction projects were awarded to foreign companies, leaving local firms sidelined. The committee made the observations during a meeting with officials from the Ministry of Works and Transport.
Having some bridges that are being constructed under Dr. Deep, the Ministry of OPM, I'm wondering whether they are not being supervised by the ministry, because Koti Bridge in Obongi was being constructed with funding from Dr. Deep, and the work has stalled for now 2 years.
Of these contractors in this list, how many firms were local firms and how many were international firms? Madam, I'm asking this question because I did the research in my master's in that particular area on the capacity of the contractors in the completion of bridge construction projects in Uganda.
We've been meeting Ministry of Works about bridges that are being constructed, have been in the process of construction since 2015. And we found that, one, most of the companies that are contracted are foreign. They are not local, which we had a problem with, because we feel like we need to build the capacity of our local contractors. Build Uganda, buy Uganda. Buy Uganda, build Uganda. Boo-boo. We've also found that they are challenged by the issue of project-affected persons who are not compensated, and so work cannot go on. They were also complaining that they have been hit by the issue of fuel and the cost of fuel, because contractors who had submitted their BOQs earlier have now to resubmit because of the prices of fuel.
Division Judge Justice Susan Okoranyi has cancelled the condition requiring former Butambara Member of Parliament Mwanga Chivumbi to report to court every month, which was imposed when he was released on bail. Justice Okoranyi says Chivumbi does not need to appear in court for the monthly reporting requirement because he is currently in prison. However, his 22 co-accused are still required to report to court as ordered. Chivumbi is expected to appear before the Butambara court tomorrow during the hearing of his bail application.
When she delivered her ruling on the day she granted former Butambala MP Muhammad Mwanga Chivumbi and his 22 co-accused bail in the terrorism case, Justice Susan Okoranyi of the High Court Criminal Division imposed several bail conditions. Among these was a requirement for Chivumbi to report to court every month, refrain from leaving the country and comply with other conditions.
Being satisfied that the applicants had generally demonstrated fixed place of abode within the...
However, although he was expected to report to court today, Chivumbi remains in prison custody at Chitalia. Justice Okoranyi has now ruled that Chivumbi does not need to comply with the reporting requirement, noting that he cannot be expected to appear in court while he remains in custody of the authorities. His co-accused, however, are still required to appear as directed.
So the 22 have appeared today, but court has dispensed with the appearance of the Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi for as long as he's still on remand or in prison, since it takes judicial notice that he cannot appear under such circumstances.
Chivumbi's lawyer, Samuel Muizi, has maintained that the case against his client has no evidence. He says that they are now waiting for Chivumbi to appear before the Butambala court tomorrow, where he will apply for bail.
This file is lagging or lacking on all requirements for it to be committed here for trial. But on the 22nd, we are going back to Butambala for purposes of the state appearing either to adjourn or to commit these people for trial. So we await the 20th to see if the state is ready for trial.
Muizi, however, says prosecution has not yet provided them with the evidence it intends to rely on to prosecute Chivumbi and his co-accused.
Onus of proof is on the state. It's not ours. Ours is to defend our clients. Here we have a file which has no statement whatsoever. So it is just a rare case that doesn't have any evidence. It is simply a holding charge.
Uganda. Are you ready for the biggest honey show in Africa? This August, Tunado welcomes the world to the 4th Africa Apimondia Symposium and Exhibition featuring honey show, apiculture, learning sessions, and business networking opportunities under the theme Beekeeping for Business and Livelihoods. Come join apiculture leaders, researchers, processors, investors, and food systems practitioners from across Africa and beyond. Come and be part of this historic gathering from the 25th to the 28th of August 2026 at Hotel Africana, Kampala. The 4th Africa Apimondia Symposium and Honey Show is organized by Tunado in partnership with Come, Network, Learn, Grow.
MTN voice bundle. Load. Hey. Hello, Mama. Hey, it is me, your son, Opio. Hey, now, Mama, listen to me. MTN has the offer. Yes, it has the offer. You load from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Now, they have free MTN to MTN minutes. And those minutes are there all day. So you load, you thank me later.
Load an MTN voice bundle between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. and get 3 free MTN to MTN minutes valid all day. Dial *100 *21# and get your free minutes bully daily. Free your fire with free minutes from MTN. Together, our connection is unstoppable. MTN.
Cooking all that makes food sweet. Tastes so good like mama's keys. Sweet Tamasana, yeah. Stir God, it's the oil you need for a tasty meal to live a healthy, happy life. Stir God, refined, fortified, blended pure vegetable cooking oil, second best to a mother's love. We don't need anyone's permission to move forward. What we need is the power to do it our way. Spiro is not your typical EV company. It's the power grid for African ambition. A network that connects Nairobi to Kigali, Lagos to Lome, Dar to Kampala. Not with cables and wires, but with clean, quiet, relentless movement. This is Africa, powered by us.
Spice up your breakfast with Prestige margarine. Easy to spread and fortified with vitamins A, D, and E in the original and vanilla flavor, turning everyday moments into quiet indulgence. And now, a delightful new experience unfolds. Introducing Prestige Fruity, a luscious fusion of creamy spread and strawberry flavor, bringing everything you love into one simple, delicious layer. No extra spreads, just pure fruity satisfaction in every bite. Prestige margarine, sprayed it, taste it, love it. Available in all shops and supermarkets nationwide. Distributed by Chapa General Enterprises, located at shop number 3, Rafik Building, Chikuwo, Kampala.
New Tusker Premium Cider. Crisp, delicious apples crushed and blended to create a unique taste explosion.
Ready to invest at the Kabaliga Petro Best Industrial Park? Booking your site visit is simple. Step 1. Visit kip.unok.com and click Create Account. Enter your company details and your authorized representative's information, then submit. Your login credentials will be sent to your email. Step 2. Return to the portal and sign in. Step 3. Click Book Site Visit. Select your zone. Describe your business and land requirements, then submit your request. You will receive a confirmation with your schedule shared by 29th July 2026. Don't get stuck. Our team is with you every step of the way. Book by 30th July 2026. Site visits commence by 11th to 25th of August. For support, contact support.kip@unok.com today. Invest in KIP. Invest in Uganda. Kabalega Petro-Best Industrial Park, a project by the Ugandan National Oil Company, UNOC.
Business Pulse, brought to you by
And now for business, East Africa could soon find itself at the center of a multi-billion-dollar contest for control of the region's fuel supply chain. Tanzania and Uganda are backing a $20 billion refinery and energy hub at Tanga, while Kenya is pursuing a much larger refinery project at Lamu, backed by Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote. This as Uganda prepares to commercialize its petroleum sector.
For decades, East Africa has produced almost no crude oil of its own, yet consumed hundreds of thousands of barrels of refined petroleum products every day. That dependence on imported fuel is now creating a new price: refining capacity. Tanzania and Uganda signed a memorandum of understanding with Vito Bahrain for a proposed regional energy hub at the port of Tanga.
What we see in the Middle East means that a lot of countries are now looking at alternative centers for refining. As you know, that Dangote's refinery in West Africa has been one of the main suppliers to Europe during this disruption. So I think the West is starting to look at Africa seriously, not just as a source of crude oil, but also as a potential refining location.
The project could exceed $20 billion and would potentially include a refinery, storage facilities and export infrastructure linked to the 1,443-kilometer East African crude oil pipeline.
Africa is happy that these projects are going to come. A project of $20 billion. You are talking about a date first and foremost. And then the question would be, are we able to build institutions that can guarantee the governance of those projects? Are we able to ensure there is transparency and accountability, that once we have borrowed the money, we have invested in those projects, the projects are going to be run in a manner that actually can benefit the citizens?
But this agreement is still non-binding, with the final investment and infrastructure requirements yet to be established. And Vito is not entering the conversation as a newcomer to refining. The Global Energy and Commodities Trader says it has about 1.2 million barrels per day of refining capacity across its 7 refineries portfolio, alongside extensive storage and trading networks. To energy experts, that matters because the Tanga proposal is not just about producing fuel. It is about controlling where crude enters the region, where products are stored, and ultimately where they are distributed. But Tanzania and Uganda are not alone.
Nasty, because he self-financed for the one in Nigeria, and at the moment, as I indicated, it's actually making business sense, whether by luck or otherwise, it's making money. So for him, it's easy to invest and to also to interest other investors to invest alongside.
In Kenya, Dangote Industries is advancing plans for a proposed 700,000 barrel per day refinery at Lamu Port, reportedly costing about $17 billion. If realized, it would be a regional scale facility and could position Lamu as the major petroleum processing and export hub. This also creates what some energy experts are calling the East African's war of refineries and its attendant concerns.
Really, sometimes you can't get excited, because one of the challenges that come with these projects that are huge, first and foremost, Africans, we don't know how to negotiate big projects, and they come with huge corruption. And any project that comes with huge corruption, it becomes a problem. Do we think we can guarantee that there will be no corruption in these projects? It is still a big challenge.
For Uganda, the competition creates a strategic question. The country is expecting a final investment decision for its own 60,000 barrels per day refinery, Kabalega Industrial Park. This raises questions on the viability of the project and availability of crude for refining.
Refinery, so we have to look at it because our refinery works for our own crude oil. But Tanga, I think, would be looking at refining from various sources. So we need to look at them as complementary.
Energy experts say that for the East African community, more refining capacity could mean greater energy security, shorter supply chains, and potential stronger bargaining power in fuel markets.
Petroleum products are likely to become cheaper long term, which I think in the end is a good thing for businesses and for the economy.
The 2026 Johnny Walker Uganda Open has launched at the Uganda Golf Club. The 88th edition of this particular one for the 13th of August will run until the 5th of September with competition in ladies, juniors, seniors, amateurs and professional categories. At the launch of the official kickoff, sponsors Johnny Walker unveiled the 650 million sponsorship deal with over 171 million as total prize money for the different categories. NBS Sport is the official media partner of this year's edition, expected to attract huge participation from international stars.
Our full package is 650 million shillings going to the Uganda Union, and the cash sponsorship is 150. The experiences will be 400 million. So our total package to this year's golf tournament is 650 million Uganda shillings.
Just starting this week, we are having the Ladies Open Championship, and we are having one of the young girls who just won at the Botswana Ladies Open, a Ugandan, Chakagoro. She's coming to compete with Peace Kabasweka, who has been a perennial winner of the Uganda Open Championships.
We have a lot of media that we've set aside for the event in terms of interviews, promotion, both on TV, different platforms as far as Next Media is concerned, as well as our very strong social media platforms.
We are very prepared. The ladies have already sharpened up their golf kits and we are ready to go on.
We have committed 300 million shillings to support local golf talent, and the thought process is to see that we can commit our golfers to opportunities on not only the local space but also take them to participate at regional activities like the Magical Kenya Open, where we'll be taking a group of 10 golfers, 5 professionals and 5 amateurs.
Well done.
I can tell you I know who will win the juniors. If you talk to me nicely, I'll give you a name. Now, the humble beginnings on the school courts in Uganda to signing of a professional contract in Morocco. Hope Akel's journey is one of resilience, determination and excellence. The Gazelles assistant captain has steadily built a reputation as one of Uganda's finest basketball players, using education, leadership and outstanding performances to break into the professional ranks.
Hope Akelo, popularly known as Aksi, has become one of Uganda's biggest basketball success stories, rising from local school competitions to professional basketball in Morocco. Her sporting journey did not begin basketball. As a naturally active student, Akela was heavily involved in different school activities and initially played netball at Trinity College Bingo before discovering her passion for basketball. Her talent quickly stood out, and after an impressive performance at the national championships while still in senior 2, she earned a move to St. Mary's Kitende, where her basketball career gathered momentum.
When I joined the national team, that was maybe when I started to keep going for the national team and also get scholarships out of it.
Akello continued balancing academics with basketball at Ndeja University before later completing her master's degree at Victoria University. Her rise continued after joining JKL Lady Dolphins, where consistent performances earned her a place on Uganda's national women's basketball team, the Gazelles, in 2017, and with time her leadership qualities saw her rise to assistant captain.
First of all, as assistant captain, leading others and helping others, being together as a team and stuff like that. But also I'm always honored to represent my country. It's always an honor.
Akello was among the key players who helped Uganda secure a historic quarter-final finish at the 2023 FIBA Women's Afro-Basket, one of the Gazelle's greatest achievements in recent years. In November 2025, she reached a major personal milestone, signing her first professional contract with Majid Tanja in Morocco, where she has learned from experienced players and coaches while expanding her understanding of the game.
Some of these players, some of the coaches had never seen players from Uganda, never, come and play the professional in Morocco mainly.
Akello believes playing professionally has also helped shine a spotlight on Ugandan basketball, introducing more coaches and clubs to the quality of talent produced back home.
There's so many great players out there, especially in the league, and I think me getting to compete against them, with them and stuff like it, I think it helps me grow as a player and also know that there is talent.
Now playing professionally while continuing to lead the Gazelles, Akello hopes her journey encourages more Ugandan players to pursue opportunities beyond the local league. She has one message for young girls with dreams of playing basketball at the highest level: believe in yourself, stay committed, and never give up.
Guides a floater off the glass.
Sometimes escape begins above the clouds, where peace waits beneath the trees. Here nature invites you to breathe, to reconnect, to feel alive again. Where warm welcomes feel as natural as the forest around you. A sanctuary designed for comfort, and moments made to flow effortlessly. Forest Resort Louise, where nature welcomes you home.
And that's it for today. Till the next episode.
Like a daily bando, like a daily bando, like a daily bando. Omuliro ngulira muli mumutima kukankana like drums. Kalakata, kalakata, edendungu ya kusabula. We gonna do free on fire, free on fire, free on fire.
Why pay for someone else's repairs? Say goodbye to hidden costs and hello to peace of mind of a brand new start. Discover the Suzuki range of unmatched fuel-efficient and reliable options. From the iconic Jimny to the new Across Hybrid. Find the perfect blend of style and world-class efficiency. Upgrade today and enjoy 1 year of free fuel and comprehensive insurance, plus 2 years of free service and a 3-year warranty. Trade in your current car or choose financing to start driving as you pay installments. Don't wait. Visit the Suzuki showroom today or call 0800 211 033 to get started.
Hey, travelers! Are you a family gearing up for that big vacation, a hustler working abroad coming home, or your squad chasing sunsets and passport stamps? It's time you lock in. Say goodbye to long airport queues, shocking roaming bills, and the stress of hunting for local SIM cards, because now you can travel like a local. Stay connected in over 180 countries. Just scan, tap, and boom! Instant data the moment you reach your destination. Get your Rogue Travel eSIM today at travel.roguetelecom.co.ug. Contact us on 020-500-123.
Well, we've come to the end of Monday's special broadcast of NBS Live at 9, and we're encouraging you for purposes of good reason that you scan the QR code, and
right there.
that's basically what the interface does look like. And let me go out here and find out what is inside there.
Have you been using yours so far?
Absolutely.
Oh, there you are. I'm seeing you.
Why is this saying screen note?
It's
that was
right
Citizen
there.
TV.
It's right there.
Very interesting. So, they're live. There's a lot of interesting things happening already. And quite a number of that's NBS Television. And so get yourself in the business of catching up with big things happening all over the world. I see quite a number of radios here.
Has it
those are
worked yet?
those
There
are
we are.
radios.
Yes. You can
That
absolutely
is
have
folks.
full control, isn't
And
it?
then news and current affairs. It's quite a lot of options here.
Absolutely. You are deciding on your viewing experience. You can click, you can get out, get in, do whatever it is that you wish to do. Download the MTN TV by AfroMobile, and it's as easy as scanning that particular code. I think we've done enough work to let you know about this, isn't it?
Yeah, we definitely have. And tomorrow, Dr. Chris Bariomus is the Minister of Health. He will be the guest at Messages Health. What is the truth behind the conflicting claims, Dr. Chris?
I hope we can absolutely get the truth on that one. Should be a very interesting broadcast. But from us
and to you, it's a good night.